Welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of DC Finest Team Ups Chase to the End of Time. Now, these stories are from 1978 and 1979. There's 550 odd pages in this, and it's an amazing collection that includes stories with obviously Batman and Superman teamed up with a variety of other people, and also obviously themselves as well. So let's just go for the book. Brilliant book from DC. Like all the other DC Finest, I think they're a really great range of books. And you can see some of the covers there. You can see it's got Batman, Supergirl, Batman, Flash, Batman, Green Lantern, and you can see obviously Superman as well. I think it's quite nice the way they've done this sort of combination of the Batman ones and also the Superman ones. I wonder if they're going to do World Finest in this series, or it's just going to be called DC Finest, World Finest. That would be weird, wouldn't it? Still, let's just go through it. I think these, like I say, great selection of stories. Many of them I've never read, so it's really nice to pick these up. These were in 1978, that's 79 ones. And at that time, I don't think I was particularly buying Brave and the Bold, nor DC Presents. So it was just great. I did buy DC Presents, I think it was issue 26, the one, of course, with the Teen Titans when they started. They had a sort of preview story, and that was brilliant. Bought quite a few issues. About one of the only ones I've ever bought multiple copies, because I thought, you know what, this one is just going to be a winner. And you can see there some of the other stories. And this one, Batman and the Black Canary, 35 cents back then. Issue 141, of course, the Joker there. I don't think it's a bad story really in here. I've gone through all the stories. I've thoroughly enjoyed reading many of them. There's probably a few sort of ones that are not as great. The artwork generally is pretty impressive as well. Of course, the Joker there. And on to the next story. Let's just quickly go to another one. This one is Aquaman. I think Aquaman appears a few times in this. That's always the thing with these stories. So Batman and Aquaman. I think there's an Aquaman one with Superman as well. And then on to this one, which is Batman and the Creeper. So we've got the Human Target also signed. Unfortunately, that story is not included. So I guess when they come to issue 26, they won't be included the Teen Titans either. Then we're on to here. Now it alternates. So you've got like Superman and Flash, then goes, I don't think, there might be a few places where they don't do that, but most of the time it's sort of backwards and forwards between Superman and, of course, Batman. Superman and Flash. I don't know if there are any other team ups during that period. You'd think that there would be, but obviously, clearly, perhaps not. This one's good. I always love the chase to the end of time, or chase stories. When I first saw this, I assumed this was going to be the ones where they did Flash racing against Superman. I don't know why I thought that, but they did that story quite a few times. Who is faster, Superman or the Flash? And I assumed, ridiculously, that was going to be the case. But instead, this is actually obviously an alien story there. And it's not particularly that story. You can see End of Time, obviously all the way through to 1978. It's nice that they point 1978 so precisely. And 4 billion BC and End of Time. That is a really weird scale, isn't it? When they show exactly that year, and Earth will die. And of course, guess who's in it? I'm not going to show that. That would spoil the story, wouldn't it? But again, really decent artwork. And let's just go on to the next one. This one, of course, Batman and Green Arrow. Always greener. I love to start there, obviously. Gwen, good God. And of course, an arrow hurtling towards the head. But luckily, of course, the Green Arrow is amazing and it would never miss. And then that one day where he sneezes just at that point wouldn't have been very good, would it? Superman and Adam Strange. I remember that one. I remember that cover. Don't know why, but that cover just stands out. And of course, there he is. Superman's captured. You know, that's not going to last very long. How many times does he get captured in this? Quite a few times, actually. It's quite a few ones where he's like stuck on a sort of massive big building. But of course, he escapes. We know he's going to escape. And we've got here Batman and the Phantom Stranger. Again, another really good story, this one. This one again, Brave and the Bold there. Surrender, Batman. And prove that even the Phantom Stranger can die. No, of course not. A choice of dooms. I always love the fact they got that blank there. It's always... And Superman and Metal Men. Really hope that going through these, they've got Phantom Stranger, we've got the Metal Men. I would love to see a DC Finest of those. I haven't got any collection with the Metal Men, so that would be nice. I quite enjoyed those stories. I used to pick them up, all of the Metal Men stories. I thought they were really quite good. And it would be nice to have a nice collection. There's Sunstroke. That again is a very, very good story with a weird creature that pops up at the start. Let's see it. Here he is, this character. So you got there, running for your lives. I think I would as well. So that's a quite. Now this story, the next story is a bit of a weird one. In fact, a very weird one. In fact, I really couldn't work it out. But the Unknown Soldier, Batman and the Unknown Soldier. So we've got just weird Hitler and whatever sort of goes through. Obviously, because he's obviously from that time, the World War II, and then at one point he got this. I thought, oh, when I first looked, I just skimmed him through, and I thought, that's strange. Of course, there's a twist, but is this sort of one of these time travel stories? There was a similar sort of one where the time travel story as well, and that was a bit confusing as well at first. But Superman and Aquaman there, as mentioned. So Aquaman does turn up again. Again, great bit of artwork. Murphy Anderson there. Really nice. So obviously you've got an octopus or whatever crawling there. And I think there's a bit there, yes. I mean, there's obviously a very, very duplicate. Poor old Superman. The pain is incredibly intense. I'm always surprised when that happens because Superman's completely impossible to defeat. But of course, there is again a twist in that story. What's happened, he says. The guy turns around and then straight into the next story, which is Batman and Supergirl. See that period, 1978, Supergirl there? Crash goes through. Hold it, Supergirl. And one step closer and you'll see Batman die. I think she's super fast. She probably can get around that. But there he is. The character, obviously the main villain there, Dr. Light, turning up there. And on to the Green Lantern. This is a good story as well. Star Sapphire appears in this. The Fantastic Fall of Green Lantern. You can see obviously there the JLA there, Metropolis Press Club. And you get, obviously Clark Kent gets the ring of Green Lantern. And of course, he uses it reasonably well. But I love that scene there. Look at that. Suddenly he becomes the Green Lantern, which is quite useful because he sort of shows him going off there, obviously being picked up. And just to save his identity, that he's very quick thinking to sort that out. But you got the Star Sapphire there. Very enjoyable. Obviously, Carol Ferris there. And then onto the Red Tornado. This one here. Another Superman story, Red Tornado. That is one of the stories where clearly there's now, that one goes into that one. Okay, so two stories do occasionally go in. Now, I love this one, Plastic Man. Obviously, a Christmas one. I love a Christmas story. Really nice one. Plastic Man has become a Santa. And I think the stories, laces, not obviously what, but of course, there's apparently something stolen and they've got to get it back. Otherwise, Christmas is not going to be Christmas in Gotham. Obviously, it's Gotham, not New York. But you've got there, obviously, Plastic Man. Plastic Man's great. I wonder if Woozy Winks was ever came back in any of these stories. But maybe he did. I don't know. And on to the next one. And this is a Teen Titans story. Teen Titans, obviously, this is a little bit before the new Teen Titans, but we've got a great Teen Titans story. That was a great collection. I've got the showcase ones of Teen Titans. I would hope, again, that DC Finest bring out a Teen Titans one. That would be a great in colour. I'd love to see that. I haven't got I'm just looking quickly. I haven't got the omnibus ones. I think there was an omnibus collection for that. Never bought it. We've got a good old Grundy here, Solomon Grundy. And also on to the next character. This is quite Batman, obviously, there. And I'm not going to tell the story because it does have a question mark on the cover. That's the best type of one, isn't it? Doesn't say who it is. Maybe they could have done that every time, wouldn't it? Batman and question mark. Very, very good. And of course, this one must be a special because it's got a few old guests there. 150th anniversary issue. Now 40 cents. But you've got some of the covers. I like those ones when they did the covers. They did that a few times with all the covers in the background, which was quite good, especially at a time when I wasn't particularly familiar with those stories. So it was nice to see those ones. And then you got, again, DC Comics presents Superman and Wonder Woman. Again, a decent story. In this one, the artwork is Ben Oder. Not an artist that I'm particularly familiar with, but perfectly reasonable. Decent little story as well. This obviously little sort of frost giant-like character. I've created a monster. Be silent, fool, he says there. This is a nice one as well. Really like this one with Batman and Flash. This, but obviously the characters, not to reveal any identities, I think, at this point. But, and then of course the Flash is double Flash. You've always got to have that. Very useful. He's got that speed issue that he can leave a sort of phantom or ghost appearance there. Now, this story is also excellent. I really love this one. Superman. That would have been even better, wouldn't it? Superman and Sergeant Rock, the miracle man of Easy Company. Really good story. I loved it. Generally, a real great one. Obviously, Clark Kent there, and you've got Easy Company there. Of course, Superman does make an appearance as well. It's not a Clark Kent story totally. Batman and Atom. Always love an Atom story. Again, another one that hopefully will be done in DC Finest. I have got the showcase ones for those, and I absolutely love those stories. Gil Kane's artwork, of course, brilliant. Though this, of course, is not by a decent Jim Aparo as well. Aparo, maybe. And Hawkman in the next story. Now, some of these stories, I just think, obviously, there's Hawk Girl as well, but the story is Superman and Hawkman. And, of course, there is bashing down some cars. But there's a bit of a problem. Hawkman's gone a bit sort of... But we got yet another story. Again, Red Tornado turns up again. Very strange. Red Tornado, not particularly a mega character. I always thought of a sort of, obviously, a Vision-like character. But one of those ones that obviously occasionally turned up in these Brave and the Bold. I don't know if he was in the JLA at that point. No idea on that. This was another one. Mr. Miracle. Very strange little story. That's Superman and Mr. Miracle. See there, obviously Clark Kent. And on to the next one, Metamorpho. Now that one is coming out, a DC Finest. The Metamorpho one, I'm really looking forward to that one. So Batman and Metamorpho, the Element Man, but will the Sniper Bullet mean their doom? How can that possibly be? Metamorpho can never die. Never. Great bit of artwork as well. Really good. And this one goes on into, let's see the next character. Oh, the Black Canary. Oh, no, it's not Black Canary. Looked like Black Canary initially, but it wasn't. Get that wrong, okay. Oh, the Green Lantern even turns up here. Good old Green Lantern. And on to the Legion of Superheroes, if I can show the cover. There is Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. Now, I mentioned issue 26, where they had the Teen Titans, or the new Teen Titans. Obviously here, we're up to issue 13. So because of that, it's going fairly slow. Who knows? Maybe the next volume will be the earlier Brave and the Bold. Maybe some of the other ones. Because there's a lot of sort of Brave and the Bolds and other ones that were never collected. They brought out an omnibus collection, but they only did the Batman ones. So I really hope that I think there's a few anyway, a fair number of ones that were not Batman. So it was like Flash and XYZ, or Green Lantern XYZ as well. Because that's always the trouble with these things, I think. Oh, and an unusual combination here, Superman and Superboy. I think there's going to be some time travel element there, I guess. Welcome to Smallville at this point. Of course, as always, for your crimes, you have to have, of course, a kryptonite missile there. Lois, by firing that Superboy will kill himself. It's a bit problematic, isn't it? But still, you think you'd remember, though? You'd think Superman would have said, oh, I remember doing that. No, there's probably a reason that he doesn't remember that. This book is absolutely... I don't think there's a bad story in here. I've been going through these, picking them up, just reading through them, and generally, I've enjoyed every single one of them. I think this will be a lovely series to pick up. I'm not a mega fan of Brave and the Bold, yet I might now go back and look at some of those. I think it's one of those ones that I've always sort of, because I didn't collect it particularly a lot, I've sort of glanced through the stories, but I think this one has really impressed on me. I think I'm missing some really good stories to read. Are you going to pick this up? This one I think is definitely 550 odd pages. I think, is it 550, 557 pages. I think this is great. And I bought this for how much? I think it was about £25, £26, something like that. And on here, it's got $39.99. I guess it's probably a lot cheaper than that. You can find copies of that. And this one's DC Comics presents 1 to 14 and Brave and the Bold 141 to 155. So you're getting a decent set, about 30 odd stories. I think for that price, I think it's great value. Looking forward to many more DC Finest coming soon. I've got a few on order. Ones I will definitely be buying will be the Superboy one, probably the Metamorpho one. Also, I'm looking for the JSA one and a few others as well that I definitely know of coming out fairly soon. But there's whole loads of other ones. The Spectre one looks great. That's well off, probably sort of near the end of the year next year. So DC Finest, this one, are you going to get it or are you going to pass this by? Also, a like or dislike, always appreciated. Also, please subscribe to the channel, always adding new videos about all kinds of comics, as well as photo books, novels, and so many DVDs, Blu-rays, etc. Bye.